What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review, and today we're doing an Emily Wang VOD review. It's been a sec since I did an Emily VOD review. Emily definitely someone who, on her good days and on her good patches can be one of the best people in the entire server, and then, on the other hand, yeah. In any case, she played a comp this game that I really wanted to review. Other people have played it. I feel like it's a comp that really hasn't been solved yet. A lot of people have talked about what's BIS. Robin did a tweet about it the other day, which is this Superfan Kale Reroll comp. It falls into the same sort of build as all the other reroll comps that I was talking about in my last video, I guess like 2 videos ago before the tier list, where I was talking about, like Seraphine reroll, Lulu reroll, and it's really nice because you can play this comp out of the same sort of like shell as those comps, but you can play it with different items and with different units. So immediately we already see we have a Kale. Our Kale items actually don't look too crazy and is a prismatic opener. Emily gets offered roll the dice, which is just one of the strongest prismatics in the game. This item, this Rascal's Gloves item, is just not very balanced. So I think that's, just a snap pickup from Emily here. But yeah, honestly, I look at this opener and I wouldn't necessarily immediately think that it's a Kale game. You can Rascal of backline and then make something like, ooh, she's even gonna make Crown Guard, which ends up killing the rod. So yeah, I don't think at this point she's even really thinking that she's gonna play Kale from this spot. It certainly seems like she just wants to play strongest board. Maybe we're gonna play like an AD flex game or something like that. Because if we really wanted to play Kale, we would keep the rod open because rod is really nice for Kale items, and you just you would just stick to that and make the Steadfast Heart, which is a fantastic tank item in its own right. But yeah, I think maybe now this is where Emily starts germinating in Emily's mind, the idea of potentially playing around this Kale, because she picks up Kale Pair here. Gonna sell the Jinx as well. I wonder if that's because she's already thinking like, okay, I want to play around Kale. Like, I don't really care about this this Jinx, and I'm just gonna look for a headliner that actually makes sense for this comp. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently is that, like, when you play these kind of lines, these super fan lines, the 2-cost headliners are what you really need. It's almost kind of awkward to pick up a 1-cost headliner because a lot of them don't really serve the purpose that you want in these setups. But we'll see what Emily ends up picking up for the early game here. Yeah, she definitely wants to make 10 gold here. Ends up losing the Lulu. But yeah, I think at this spot she's already saying, like, you know what? I want to try out this Kale comp. The only weird thing is that we don't really have Kale items. I guess you could go JG. The problem with something like a JG Kale is that she doesn't have a lot of AP for that JG to scale off of. Pentakill doesn't give her any AP. Edgelord doesn't give her any AP. So it's kind of an awkward item on to Kale. But we'll see what she ends up building. I'm really hyped to see how she gets to the comp this game and then how well it does, because it's a comp that I'm very interested in. I guess other thing to say while we're getting into carousel here is that Heartsteel Cup day 1 is tomorrow. I'm gonna be playing in that. Yeah, she's gonna pick up the rod here, potentially just for I think she's scouting around to see is anyone playing around Kale, and I think she's just gonna hold on to these. I don't imagine that she's gonna slam JG here, but we'll see. It could happen. And there's Kale too. I think that finally like tie breaks in her mind. Okay, I definitely want to be thinking about playing around Kale this game. She's also going to pick up the Garen here because he's just a solid headliner to play around in this position. Good enough that, you want to pick something up. She wants to play for streak and save some amount of HP, especially because she's this Rascal's Glove. But yeah, I'll be playing in Heartsteel Cup tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't get day 1. If I do get day 1, I'm going to go... My friends are having a party the same day, so if I get day 1, I'm just going to peace out of there and go party. So it's kind of like a win-win, but... I'm not going to run it down just to go party because I'm a serious TFT individual. But just to say, I'm in a very good mental state about it. And I also have Aegis Champions League the final week today. If you guys want to go on my Twitch stream, it's the last week until they go into like the playoff weeks. So check that out. But yeah, I mean, we're sort of just chilling on this board, waiting to get to stage 3. Really curious to see how Emily plays stage 3, because I think when you're playing around 2-cost reroll, stage 3 is very pivotal. She hasn't really played like a lost streak opener, so she's pretty broke, all things considered, but she already has this Kale too. She has this Garen to play around, and there is another Kale. We already have 4 Kale, so yeah, I think if there were ever a spot to think about Kale reroll, this is certainly it. Also, she's holding onto the Gnar, and quite interestingly, she's holding onto this Kennen here. Kennen can be Superfan on this board because it is like a Superfan Kale board. The problem is that he usually just doesn't fit. You really tend to just play around Lilia, Nico, plus the Gnar. But we'll see what Emily ends up making her final board out to be. I mean, right now this board seems completely fine. She's got the Sentinel in for the Garen. I don't love 8-bit Garen. I much prefer playing around the Sentinel version of the Garen, just because I don't think 8-bit benefits Garen that much. But, you know, it's fine. She's going to slam the Gunblade here for Kale, and she just slams it onto Thomas Kench, which I love this kind of stuff in TFT. I feel like headliners make you do this so much, where it's like, yeah, Gunblade Tom Kench. Whoa, I mean, he's going to do a little bit of damage. Like, was this fight a Gunblade Kench diff? I mean, probably not, but it could have been. But yeah, like it actually, because she doesn't want to slam these items onto Kale, as I've talked about before. Metalheads gives you a Kale here. I have to feel like that's the pickup, because then you're one off Kale once you find the headliner. Seems amazing. And then also, the only downside is you've already built Gunblade, so you don't need the healing that much. But even the CC immunity is nice on a unit like Kale. That's going to allow her to get through a ton of autos very, very quickly. So yeah, she's going to go 6 here. She already has a decent board. So yeah, there's like sort of branching paths you can do here. You can, if you want to play extremely high tempo, you can sell the Garen here and roll for Kale. The problem is if you miss, then you're going to be super, super broke. Emily's going to play a lot more conservatively and just keep the Garen in and just chill on this board. She's going to end up losing this fight to a pretty strong board with this Kaisa headliner, but at least she's not going to kill her econ. She can wait a few rounds and then roll on 6. Emily looks unhappy. I don't know. Maybe she's like near the oak. But now she's gonna sell after losing that fight. One off Kale. There was just a Mashur Urgot. I wonder if that's ever a pickup there. I mean, obviously she really wants to pick up Kale here, but the problem is like if you roll super, yeah, this is what happens when you play reroll and you don't hit. Is you roll super deep in spots like these, and now you're 20 gold and you have nothing to play around. I think I would have liked to pick up the Urgot there and just play around that for a few rounds, put the Radiant TG on him, and then roll again at Wolves potentially. Because yeah, this reroll stuff, it's pretty difficult to play around because now Emily's down to 20 gold. The upside is we're 6 kills, so the second that we find a Kale headliner, which could very well be next round, we are hard chilling. The other awkward thing is we have no attack speed item on Kale yet. I mean, you could even go like a guard breaker as an attack speed item. But most people really like the Gwinsus. I've seen red buff as well, Morellos. A lot of people have talked recently about Gwinsus being like bis. I think you can roll it to like 20 here. I think if you roll it too deep, like if you roll to 10, you're gonna be super broke. But she is gonna roll it all the way to 10 here. Picks up Sentinel Mordekaiser, who can be fine for now. But the awkward part is, I mean, the nice thing is you can send items on Kale at this point, right? Because you're never gonna hit. Yeah, you don't really have to do. I mean, I guess the upside to this is that you get to itemize this Mordekaiser, who is a really cool Mordekaiser. But you could theoretically gunblade the Kale. I guess it is actually better on the Mordekaiser still. But yeah, because you're 6 Kales, you don't actually have to worry about hitting Kale headliner but not being able to play it, because you'll always be able to play it. So you could actually gunblade Kale here, but I think the gunblade on Mord is actually really smart because he's got 2 items already. Getting that 3rd item onto him, giving him that AP is going to just make him so much more of a beast. And I imagine we're just going to keep this Mordekaiser in until the end of the stage, and then sell him and dig for Kale even further. But yeah, I mean, just goes to show, I feel like these reroll comps, I don't know, I've been thinking about them a lot recently, and I think a lot of people would probably go to say that it's not the most skill intensive way of playing TFT, but I think managing your econ and your like stage 2 and your stage 3 really is actually like really difficult when you play these types of comps, because we are kind of broke here. The upside is we're about to hit Kale 3 surely, as long as we can pick up that headliner. She's scouting around. Nobody's holding Kales. You could even open sell the Mordekaiser here on this stage, unless she's thinking of just keeping the Mordekaiser forever. I would be surprised though. I would imagine that we're selling it and digging for Kale here. Yeah, there's another Kale we could. Oh, and there's the Kale 3. Beautiful. The only other downside is that we haven't actually hit a lot of our frontline 2-starred yet. We don't have Mordekaiser 2-starred. We don't have Nico 2-starred. It's yeah, our board's a little bit weak. We're gonna move the Gunblade over there, make a death cap on Kale, which I think is a solid item on her. And yeah, these will just be our items. It's interesting to see where these tank items on Gnar are gonna end up, because Gnar is not the best tank, but he's a decent unit for now. I would like them on Nico later, but I think she didn't want to put them onto a Nico 1 because Nico 1 is a Nico 1. So makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I mean, we've got to the Kale. We have 3-item Kale. She's not like the highest attack speed in the world, but she does already have that Gwinsu. Since we've already hit Kale, I don't really like something like an Infernal Contract here. I actually kind of like Radiant Relics a lot here. The only problem would be like moving one of the items that you end up taking off of Kale. You could also just go Lucky Gloves with the idea that you already have this Radiant TG, and I believe it does work with the Lucky Gloves. So yeah, maybe it's just always Lucky Gloves here. You can gloves the Nico here, and I mean, yeah, Lucky Gloves actually is really nice. This comp does well with gloves. If this is the case, I would always just slam Gargoyle Stoneplate here and then just look for a final glove, because you don't really care. You're never going to use this glove to make like a final tank item for this Gnar. So I like Gargoyles a lot onto the Gnar here, and then you look for this glove to be like Viego glove. But yeah, this should, yeah, it does always roll BI. Yeah, it's so broke. Okay. I'm definitely down for Lucky Gloves here. Because rolling BIS Lucky Gloves onto this Mordekaiser every round, I mean, it's just gonna be insane. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. And obviously BIS tank items, all these other guys are really good. The other thing is that this comp runs so many carries because you're gonna play Viego later. You can even play into like Karthus later. If you are able to actually push levels, you can get into the Yorick later. Like, there's so many units to Lucky Gloves in this comp. I mean, obviously the Gloves Yorick would be insane, but I don't think we're gonna get the chance to pick that up. So I wonder what our item is here. Maybe just like a Hodge or something in case we can't build Lucky Gloves and we just have to like Hodge one of our units. Looks like she wants Bow here. Oh, I mean, there is always the chance that you could pop off an item off Kale. I don't know. Maybe she's looking at like Titans. Because you can use Superfan to pop items off Kale if you end up getting to something you really like. Yeah, I think she's looking at Titans here. Oh, but she puts on a Gnar. Interesting. Because you can't really sell Gnar is the until you find another Gnar, because you need to play him on this board. I would think you just put the Titans on Riven and then you can move it to the Viego later. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, she definitely wants to move these items off Gnar eventually, though it's actually kind of awkward, like where are they gonna go? But yeah, this Kale build actually looks really, really nice. Just the Death Cap Gunblade, instead of some kind of like double Gwinsu's idea that I think a lot of people are talking about. Because you already have the Gwinsu, you already have a lot of attack speed, and the Death Cap helps a lot about the damage output. I do think Gunblade is really, really nice on this kill, just because she has that really, really consistent damage output, so you can just consistently heal up your front line. It's really, really nice. But yeah, I guess the third item is kind of a question. I definitely think Death Cap's not bad. Red Buff's probably not bad. Marilla's not bad. Second Gwinsu's not bad. So pretty cool itemization here out of Emily. And obviously the gloves are doing a ton of work here. Yeah, look how tanky her front line is. Like, this player can't even get through her front line. That's the other nice thing about this Gunblade, is that it's going to heal up front line, and like a unit like this Mordekaiser, who has like a Radiant Steadfast Heart, that's just going to make him even more tankier. So every point of HP that Kale is healing to that Mordekaiser goes that much further with the extra resist that he gets from the glove, like this Radiant Steadfast Heart. A lot of bows here is probably just going to end up being a red buff, I would think. And we did pick up Viego, which is nice. That can come in over the Riven here, and then we can look to get in 5 Pentakill, and we will. And yeah, the Akali just fits well into the board. We definitely want TG here if possible, and we do get it. I assume this is just going to be red buff Akali and call it a day, or red buff Karthus, I guess. I like red buff Akali a lot, though. Yeah, she spreads it very well. The only downside is she's Akali 1, so she might just die in some of these fights. But yeah, the board looks fantastic now, picking up the Viego too. Very rich and so healthy. 74 HP in this spot is so good. Yeah, she's going to kill somebody here before she even drops into the 70s, which just goes to show how far ahead she is of the entire lobby. So yeah, really, really nice spot for Emily to be in, and hitting the Viego too, hitting the Yorick, or not Yorick, I mean Yorick too would be great. Mordekaiser too as well. Like her spot is really, really nice, and all these gloves are just gonna push her spot even further ahead. The only downside is that they I believe they buffed the Radiant Steadfast Heart a little bit this patch, but it's still stats wise is one of the worst Radiant items in the game, and Mordekaiser is rolling it like every round. But I mean, a tank item is a tank item, right? It's not the end of the world, even if you have an item that's like slightly suboptimal. But yeah, at this point, you're probably just going 9. If you had multiple Mordekaisers or multiple Nikos, I would think you definitely want to look for those 3-starred, but we're pretty far off of them, so I feel like we kind of have to go 9 in a position like this. Also, it's interesting, because we TG'd the Viego, this Titan is just going to sit on Gnar the whole game. We're just going to have Titan's Gnar. I mean, not the end of the world, right? He's going to stack it up and then jump, get all that extra HP. It's not the worst, but yeah, I mean, look at this Kale comp go, by the way. This Kale outputs so much damage, and with the extra frontline that the rest of this board has for the Kale, like, she just gets so much time to do all of this damage. It's really, really nice. Item-wise here, we're just looking for a Kali item, BT, Edge of Night, QSS. I guess you have to take QSS. You could always take, like, Protector's Vow is, like, a funny idea, just to get her, like, casting kind of quickly. But yeah, I like QSS a decent bit. Now those are kind of Mordekaiser items, honestly. The Protector's Vow for the quick cast, and then the Radiant Gargoyles. I like that a lot. You're just going to cloak the Lilia because, I don't know, because it's funny. But yeah, I mean, we're just going 9 at this point. If you natural, like, 2 more Nikos, you could maybe look for Nico 3, because Nico 3 is a big upgrade, but especially on a board like this, when you're playing the Pentakill, like, being able to get, like, Yorick in later is really, really nice. You could even get, like, Akali out later and just play for 7 Penta on 9, because the Akali is nice. It's really nice for Executioner, and it's, like, okay for for the KDA, but like it's not super necessary. Be interested to see if she wants to get into that 7 penta or she just stays on Kali. I mean, probably once you hit Akali 2, you kind of have to play Akali. Though if she ends up finding like a Yorick too, like you could see these Akali items just being Yorick items. But I don't know. Executioner is not bad. It's just like Executioner on this Karthus one with no items isn't really doing anything, but it's not bad. Man, how many people has Emily killed this game? I feel like she's getting her bang for her buck out of this this cutscene. She just killed everybody. It's 5-7. Wait, the lobby's almost done. I'm 15 minutes into the video. Hey, Emily, can you make this game go a little longer? This is like world record shortest video. The game was almost over before stage 6. I looked at the HP bars, and my god, what a dominant performance. All right, we're gonna roll here for something to put in. The Alawi is definitely not a bad unit to play here. Maybe pick up Alawi 2 on the roll down. Why not? Doubt we're finding Mordekaiser 3 because, I mean, it's so far away. Look for Kali item here. Evan Shroud's not bad. Probably has to be. It's not terrible. Just gonna go for Ionic Spark. Ionic Spark, fine. It does, you know, work on the early kill autos. Kill does shred once she casts, but prior to her casting, you definitely don't have that. So yeah, I could see it. Wow, this is a close fight though. Oh, okay. We at least the video's not done just yet. Pick up the Yorick here, and she's going to move these Gnar items over to Yorick, which I think is really... Actually, she's not going to get the Yorick in, because it's kind of... Yeah, I feel like you have to play this Yorick here. She's actually going to move the items over to Alawi. Okay, I mean, yeah, I could see that as well, for sure. This Alawi's in a little bit of a scary spot. I mean, she's fighting against a cap TF board, which I've talked before. I talked in my last video, I guess that was my last video, about how this TF board, it can cap quite high, but apparently not high enough to beat this Kale board. 16 minutes? What the heck? I'll fill for time. Here's the final board. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to show off all the final comps here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of a blowout from Emily. Pretty crazy game. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.